Now, every year, February 11 is marked globally as the International Day of Women and Girls in STEM, a day set aside to recognize the role of women in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, just in case you didn't know what that was, and also to confront a stubborn reality that girls are still underrepresented in fields shaping the future. Globally, women make up just over a third of STEM graduates. In Africa, that number drops even further in certain technical fields like engineering, artificial intelligence, and robotics. The gap is not always about ability. Often it begins with exposure. A young girl who is never educated, never encouraged, never asked to experiment or to build or to question or to imagine herself in these spaces slowly learns to exclude herself.
Now, in Nigeria, that exclusion carries consequences beyond gender. It affects innovation, economic growth, and national competitiveness, because the world we are entering in will not be driven by muscle, but by ideas, by code, by design, and by invention. This morning, we explore how early exposure, education, and opportunity can reshape the future, not just for girls, but for the country. And to enlighten us more on this conversation, we are joined here in studio by Doris Obeki, an early childhood educator and girl-child advocate. Also, we have Olutoyosi Egunjobi, the Chief Operations Officer at Credit Bank. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me. For the first time, actually, it's a lot of women and just one man.
It's okay. I can take the back seat on this one. But welcome, ladies. Good to have you.
Who do I start with? Doris, let's have you first. Thank you again for joining us. Now, from early childhood education, how early do the detections, how necessary are the detections and, of course, the preparations about who belongs in science begin to form?
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Doris once again here with you. Thank you, Mazino.
Great.
Thank you, Inam, for having me. And it's a very good opportunity to have this program where we now begin to understand the role of girls and women in our entirety, how they form and how they shape our future in terms of education and also STEM in particular. Yes, well, I would say early detection and exposure for girls matters a lot because we know that from statistics and data-driven facts, we know that girls had always been marginalized, and that had given us the backseat to say, okay, what can these girls do? We have the societal implications, we have the personal, and we also have the family belief that will say, no, girls are not supposed to be trained, they're not supposed to be educated. And you see, we have some culture that will say, at a certain age, you get married, and at the end of the day, what do you see? The class is empty for girls. And before now, we've always had this male-dominated classroom to say the boys should be educated because they will have to carry the family name, the country and everything. They have to project them to the future. But then it's really taking a very, the paradigm is shifting because now we're having more girls being educated. We're having more girls being exposed because now they now believe in themselves, because before now the girls really don't believe in themselves. Now, from the early childhood perspective, we run a kind of a curriculum and a kind of, yes, a curriculum that will project more girls, so to say, to begin to enjoy, to begin to see, oh, actually, the myth that we usually have before to say the science is the place for the boys, it's not there because everybody have the equal opportunity to experiment, to see, to work hands-on with all the gadgets. In terms of Lego, you see in the classroom, you see even babies begin to build, begin to see things, and begin to experiment and begin to understand that, yes, yes, we can actually do this. So it's not really now that the male are dominating, but everybody's having that equal opportunity to
Awesome. I mean,
walk through.
Toyosi, thank you again for joining us. I'd like to hear from you, especially because you are coming from not just a finance, but a leadership position. How visible is female representation in technology and the finance sector?
Okay, thank you for that question. Olutoyosi here again.
Olutoyosi, we're very sorry, but we seem to have lost your audio or something wrong with the connection. We're wondering what that might be. If you could check on your side while we do the same here as well. But we cannot hear you again. We did have your visual for a moment, but then we lost your audio on it. So if you'll keep that question in mind and rectify whatever the issue is, we will come back to you and you'll answer that. I hope Inam doesn't forget the question that you asked. Can you hear us now? Grand, we have you back now, Toyosi. Please go ahead.
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Good. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so I was saying that there's been major improvement from where we were years ago to now, but it often feels performative, just like a box to just tick the box saying, oh, we have maybe 3 men in leadership and then we have 2 women in leadership positions, or you have a board of 4 men and then 1 woman in as members of the board of directors. So it often feels performative, like let's just tick the box. I believe that there's still a lot of room for improvement. And, even during events, when we have these events, you see that it's more just like PR related and just for marketing purposes than intentionality. So I believe that there's a lot of work to be done. We are definitely way better than where we were before, but there's still a lot of room. There's a lot of room. Visibility isn't just about having a seat at the table, but also being able to make decisions that affect all the genders and, that provide a form of improvement for everyone. So it's very important to have that balance for women and men.
Olutoyosi, you said something very interesting there, and I wanted to jump on that, but only this time I'm going to be asking Ms. Obeki here, who's with us. You talked about this quota system, not specifically, but you talked about this quota system where corporate structures can actually have certain amounts or certain seats reserved for women, which is great. But then again, nothing changes in a vacuum, and that's going to bring me into the studio here where I ask you about this. If we are preparing girls for these kinds of positions in STEM and we're getting them more interested earlier on, what are we doing when it comes to the other gender? Because it's not just a female issue, it's the fact that we also have a sense in Nigeria here where we believe that the male child are supposed to have some certain kind of, what do you call it now, responsibility, while the female gender has a different kind of responsibility. So if you're changing the way the female child thinks, what about the male gender, where we actually think that this is your place in a home, you're not supposed to be in such and such structural arrangements corporately? What are we doing to balance it out?
Okay, yeah, like I said before, now the girls are beginning to get interested in education and they're beginning to know that, oh, this really is not about the male gender now. Now we're in a world where everybody is very much important. The girls, the boys, everybody is important, even from the home.
Is that orientation changing with the male gender, the boys? Are we telling them that, oh no, women are not supposed to simply be in the kitchen, they're also supposed to be in places of technology?
Before
and all
now...
that? What exercises are in place to make that orientation when it comes to the boy child change? So we're not expecting them to be in the kitchen. We're expecting to open an office door and see them in places of power when it comes to technology especially.
Okay, not because what we're doing is, then the boys always say, oh, this is for me. Especially when it comes to science, technology. We have females that are mechanics. We have, like the classroom now, we're beginning to see more of males coming into the teaching profession. Because then it used to be, oh, we're all ladies, we're all girls. Oh, the only profession for the girls should be the teaching or the nursing profession. But it's really changing. We even have men that are nurses now. So everything is changing, and it comes with more of orientation to say, oh, when we do this, we don't have to restrict, even we as teachers, we don't have to say, oh, okay, you don't do this particular activity because you're a girl. You don't have to do this activity because you're a boy. No, everybody, the same equal exposure, the same equal opportunity to do everything right. And we don't have to say, oh, okay, now we're going out, the boys stay. Everybody will have to go out.
So is that change coming from an academic effort or a cultural effort, from the way families approach this concept? Are we Are we buying dolls for boys now and trucks for cars
No,
for
we're
girls?
not actually, because, okay, from the classroom
Because that's a
now,
fundamental, that's a very integral part of orientation. When you look at it, when we say, oh, dolls are for girls, you grew up with
we have
Barbies.
to also
didn't
be
you,
very
Inam?
careful here, because
Oh, no, I did karate. I did karate.
I did actually play football when I was
Yeah.
in school. Do you know then I actually played football?
Interesting.
Yes, because now I just believe from a personal perspective that really I can actually do this. So I have this mindset that, oh, if a boy can actually kick the round ladder, I can also do that. So I was actually a footballer, and I still enjoy playing football till now.
I
And you
don't, I
can
hate
see-
it.
Toyo, see, if I may, I love the question that Mazino just gave to Doris, and I'd like to direct it in your direction as well, just to try and get your stance out of it in terms of education and conditioning, because I think it's it's a mind conditioning kind of thing. Is that something that is already being done, not even just for women, but for boys? And I say this because I think one of the reasons why Mazino brought that question is we have a problem when it comes to gender equality, you know? But I've come to find a situation where we're trying to solve the problem with women, but like Mazino said, we're not involving men in the problems that we want to solve. We want to solve them as women. So how are we bringing men in and trying to get them to understand that this is actually, it's okay for this to take place. You're not inferior as a man when structures like this take place.
So I think that stakeholder engagements are very important. So when you have like conferences and seminars, don't exclude the men. Same way women don't want to be excluded from events that are supposed to have like a balance, don't exclude the men. Conversation is very important. Constant communication and conversation. It would take some time for people to get used to these things, but the moment you have conversations, advocacy, and because I believe that oftentimes people don't know what they don't know. It's not because they're trying to be intentionally biased or intentionally evil or wicked. They just don't know what they don't know, or they're not paying attention to it. But the moment you bring their attention to it through constant communication and conversation, I believe that there would definitely be a shift. But involving men in conversation about women is also very important. Because,
All right.
That's
Let's talk about the impact that women have made in tech now. If you can, I don't know if you have the numbers or any stats that you can refer to, but how much progress, how much change have women specifically made when it comes to tech? How much have women in Nigeria made when it comes to tech? How much changes?
So I don't have numbers off the top of my head, but we definitely are seeing women making a lot of impact in tech space or in organizations that have enabled technology. For example, we have Funke Opeke, who started Main One. We have the likes of Odo Iwini of Piggyvest. We have the likes of myself as well, so I would also give myself some credit because I work in the tech space. And there are so many examples out there to say that, you know, women also can do what men can do. It's not a competition. It's just that there are real world problems to be solved, and men and women can definitely solve these problems. We cannot deny the fact that technology has come to stay, and we do need everybody's brains and hands on deck to be able to solve real world problems. So we do have so many examples. These are the examples that I can give right now, but there's so many. If we do our research, we'll definitely find a lot, both in Nigeria and definitely abroad as well. So we have a lot of tech-enabled organizations in health tech, in ed tech, in insurtech, fintech as well. There's so many. Yeah.
It's a tech world. Atoyosi, can you just enlighten us again? Kudos to you and what you do. But I'd like to know, woman to woman, what are some of the challenges that you have faced being a woman in a grossly male, dominated industry? What are the challenges, and how have you as a female overcome the challenges?
So I think that oftentimes one of the biggest issues or bias would be that when a woman is of childbearing age and she gets married and she has a family, then she's not able to be as productive as she should be. well, I'm not married, but I've seen people who have faced that. Oftentimes, I mean, I've attended interviews, and one of the questions they've asked me is, what are your plans for marriage and starting a family? And I know it's not from a place of, oh, we're concerned about your marital future, but it's like, okay, if we bring you on board and then you decide to get pregnant in the next 6 months, what then happens? There's also, women having to prove themselves as credible and worthy for a particular position, while men just strolling and then they feel like the world is at their feet. I believe that women should definitely do more in ensuring that they're confident enough and knowing that they're worthy enough to be in those spaces. But these are the few, I guess, barriers that I've seen. And I've also been in conversation where people are like, oh, this is why I don't like to hire women, because the woman got pregnant and she had to go and have it. Like, okay, so if you hire women, you want to have a male-dominated organization. I would say that the men are really trying, but there's this, like I said before, there's a lot of work to do, but we cannot deny the fact that these barriers are still there.
Awesome. Doris, I'd like to come to you, especially because I know that you are more within the education sector. Now, based on what Toyosi has just said, you are in the education standpoint, so the conditioning of the mind again. When we're looking at the career side of things and the family side of things, in Nigeria especially, what are we teaching our women to prioritize?
Wow.
Family or career? Is that where you're going?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, for both, thank you. For both are very important. Career, family. However, we just need to find a balance. So we don't allow one suffer for the other. Like, you're a woman and oh, I want to actually build a career in education. It still does not mean because you're of the childbearing age, you shouldn't. Everything has its own space. When it's time for you to give birth, yes, you're pregnant, you're coming to work. Yeah, we know the health implications will come in, but at the same time, like I said, there should be a balance. Now, when you are giving back and you resume back to work, you should also find a way to try to cover up for all those lapses. Yes, some employers will say, no, I wouldn't want to employ someone who is of childbearing age, but we can't actually run away from it. We need to also give birth to those children that we're going to teach in the classroom. So if we don't give birth, who do we teach? So we just have to find a balance to say, okay, I'm pregnant. If I'm to resume by 7 and I can't be at work by 7, I should communicate. That's where communication comes in. I should communicate to say, okay, oh, I'm going to the hospital. I'm going to work. Then when you come back, I mean, you don't have to pretend or behave like, oh, this thing is really weighing me down, because that is where the employees now begin to see those lapses, those loopholes, to say, oh, this person is not actually competent enough. But sometimes it's just nature that comes calling. And when it comes calling, we just have to answer the call. And then we take it off from there.
Doris, thank you for the answer. I want to rephrase it because there's something that I'm looking for. The education of women understanding in terms of priority, because you find a situation where I've had conversations with women. I don't know if maybe those kind of conversations would have come up with you, where you find a woman who is very competent and capable, but you find a situation sometimes where they don't want to break the ceiling because they feel like, if I accomplish this amount, it'll be hard for me to get married, right? So the education side of things, to say in terms of priority, it's absolutely okay for someone to say, I prioritize family. I want to be a family woman before I am a career woman. How do we educate these women to find this balance that you speak about?
That's where planning now comes in. Now, I want to get married, and I know I just started work, and I need to get to the peak of my career in the next 5 years. That does not mean I'm not going to give birth, but I still have to work. I have to understand that if I don't give it what it takes in terms of like I said, planning, I plan to know that in the next 5 years or 6 months, I'm going to achieve.
What structure does one have to put in place? What structure do I have to put in place to make sure that I achieve here in my career, and while not neglecting family responsibilities? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, in the sense that I have my family. Like, I have three girls. When I'm going to work, I know, oh, they are going to eat. I know I have to wake up on time to prepare their meal. I know, okay, by 2 o'clock they have to be back from school. Who stays with them? What do I do? Where do I keep them? Because I know by 4 I'm going for...
That in itself exposes an imbalance. Because if the concern of the woman is always about family and then she still has to carry on her shoulders career as well, men don't often have that kind of pressure.
I agree. And
Yeah,
it
men
goes
don't
back,
have that kind of pressure.
It goes back
But then, we just have to understand, it's a two-way thing, like we all said. We're talking about the gender here.
Yeah.
The family needs to understand that, okay, I am working, but not to the detriment of my family. I'm also going to keep my family, not to the detriment of workplace. So as an individual, you just have to find a way to say, okay, what works for me? What structure am I going to put in place for me to be able to guide my family and also keep my job?
Women are superhuman.
It's a very dicey situation.
It's a very
Mazino, I'll let you
dicey,
ask
but, no one cap fits all.
Yeah.
We'll just have to find
I'll
a
let
way.
you ask the next question
Okay,
to
yeah.
Toyosi, but I wanted to add,
Okay.
especially with what she said, because I had that experience as well. I have a daughter. I'm a single mom. And I remember I was working for an accounting firm back back home, and there was an emergency that needed me to leave the office and attend to my daughter at school. And the first thing my boss said to me was like, literally, I don't know if he was present or alert at the time, and he made a comment and he was like, sheesh, man, that's why we prefer to hire single women.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, bro, you sheesh me all you want, you know? But I do understand the fact that there is, like Toyosi said, there is so much more to prove with regards to the career, to say I am career driven and I'm career focused, and having a family is not an inconvenience to my career. And I think those are, one of the reasons why we asked that question is because those are some of the disciplines that I feel like we need to teach our women if we want to get into the places of
nobody
career
is a
and power.
superwoman, but at the same time, like I say, you just have to strike a balance. Like I remember when I was pregnant of my second daughter and I have to go for...
Antenatal?
Not really, I have to go for a course.
No, of course. Okay.
You know, what did I just do? I know if I have to say, okay, oh, I'm pregnant, let me not go now. It's going to truncate my career advancement. But I have to put structures in place. Okay, when is it convenient for me to go? Do I go in the morning and come back to work, or do I come to
Obviously,
work?
there's a lot of planning that
There's a lot
goes
of planning
in,
that
and it's
goes
not just
in.
one
It's not
that you
just
take
one
as an
thing
individual,
because,
as a female.
yes,
it's a family
the
thing.
family thing.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to understand, okay, this works best for us, and we just have to, let it...
So that's the cultural side of things. Let me come to Lutoyosi now on the corporate side of things. I'm wondering what policies exist inside of tech that can help women find this balance that we've just argued about. Toyosi.
So I think one of the policies, and I don't think it's just tech related, but I think one of the good things as well is the fact that we now, because of tech or technology, we're able to work remotely or hybrid. So a lot more women are able to work from home and get very good paying jobs while also being able to take care of their family. So finding that balance. Of course, the maternity leave for women who are pregnant and about to, have their babies and stuff like that, but that has been in place for a long time. I think more companies, maybe not in Nigeria, but outside, like in Europe and in the UK as well, they allow you to go on maternity leave for about a year as opposed to 6 months in other countries. So that also helps. More women and more organizations are advocating for period leave, where, some people have extremely painful periods. I've also had that issue in the past. And women have to deal with like excruciating pain and still show up at work. But more organizations are advocating for like, maybe even if it's just like 5 days in a month where you can work from home if possible, but be able to take care of yourself and go on leave if it's extremely painful. So people are becoming more aware and more conscious of women-related issues. And it's not just about pregnancy. So not saying that pregnancy is an issue, but, there are other things that are related to women that requires them to go on leave outside of your regular sick leave. And of course, technology has helped people to be able to work from home and be able to attend to your meetings and work remotely. So I think that's a great thing. I think maybe that's one big thing or one blessing that came from COVID and the lockdown.
Toyosi, piggybacking on what you just said, I've found instances where when you are applying for a job, especially after you've submitted your CV and they've vetted the competencies, there's always that section there that asks if you are facing any challenges health-wise. Under normal circumstances, they'd ask you the basic, maybe HIV or cancer or whatever, just to determine your health status. But I noticed that there was a lot more that was added now in terms of like what you just said with your menstrual cycle, whether you've got irritable bowel syndrome or whatever. I want to just hear from you. Do you think that that extra set of questions now, especially from a female standpoint, are those questions being asked because they perhaps want to exclude you because they know that you might be dealing with more, or they want to accommodate you as a woman?
Well, I would look at it from both ways. I don't know what the intentions of whoever it is that is asking the questions, but it could work out both ways. It could be that, okay, so that it doesn't come as news if I had disclosed that I have this health condition, and then if I have to go to the doctors or be away for some time, it doesn't come as news, especially if you are somewhat required to. But I believe that health issues are personal to me, and I don't have to disclose everything.
Right.
I shouldn't be forced to. I can't if I want to, just because it doesn't come as a surprise to HR or to my boss at any time. But I shouldn't be required to disclose. I would like to hope and believe that it's not because they're trying to shove me aside because, she has this. Please, she's not qualified. Let's move her away. Yes, she's qualified on the job, but then she has all these other things that would not make her perform on the job as she should. But we cannot deny the fact that these things actually do exist. And fortunately or unfortunately, you need women to be able to push through economically and in every aspect. So we just have to deal with it. It's what women are going through. These things are becoming more rampant, and people are speaking more about these health conditions. And we have to find a way. Organizations have to find a way to accommodate it.
Olutoyosi,
We just have to. We have to accommodate. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Olutoyosi.
So we now have to redefine policies and all those things to accommodate all of the things that are happening around the world.
Redefine policies. Thank you very much, Olutoyosi. I'm wondering exactly how INAM knows about these new changes when it comes to job forms and the queries that they give. I hope you're not looking for another job.
I mean, I am a journalist, so I research.
Researching
Research,
jobs.
exactly, it's research.
Researching where next to go, INAM. You're stuck with us.
I research.
Let me come to the studio here and ask Doris, my final question, Doris. I'm wondering about mentorship. How do we get to change this? What is stereotype in the minds of girls? Are there mentorship programs out there that push women, young women, to actually want to achieve, especially in tech-related and STEM-related achievements?
There are programs. Like recently, I know that the former Ondo State First Lady, I guess, Akeredolu, has something to do with ladies. I have to say, be more. Be more of yourself. So young girls are beginning to get aware to know, okay, we can actually achieve more by being myself. I can still be a lady and still achieve more. I think that's the essence or the vision of that organization where ladies are trained, especially in tech, because I see a lot of girls coming in and they are trained on robotics, on STEM-related subjects, and you see they all move on. So it's really good that these days we have organizations, we have NGOs that are beginning to encourage women, ladies, young girls to actually be themselves, achieve more, because now there's this, like I said, there's this mindset, how can I do it in a male-dominated environment? And ladies are beginning to take the mantle, and if not careful, Mr. Mazuno,
it's all right.
We're gonna.
Well, there's four of you here and just me, so that's like a sample of exactly what.
And you can also see we have two of us.
Yeah, exactly.
So what do you say? So really, on a very good note, it's a good thing that NGOs are coming up to encourage these young girls to actually come on, because it's a universal thing that, like Ms. Toyosi said, the space is accommodating. There's a whole lot of global issues that needs everybody's hands on deck. Be you a boy, a male, a female, we need everybody's hands on deck to actually take this mantle. And I like the fact that women are beginning to believe in themselves, to know that I can actually do this. and I can actually work and be what I want to be, not also relegating my family
Agreed.
and everybody achieves
Agreed.
more. Yeah.
Well, what can I say? It's been a very interesting session. I want to say thank you very much, Olutoyosi, for joining us. And of course, thank you very much, Doris, for making it here physically
It's a
into
pleasure.
the studio to talk about this very interesting issue.